When you walk past the mirror and you look at yourself, hold your head up high and know that you are loved. If nobody else loves you, love yourself first.
Welcome to the One Girl Revolution podcast. It's your girl, Kate Bryan, and I'm the host of the One Girl Revolution podcast and founder of One Girl Revolution. One Girl Revolution is a multimedia platform, a podcast, and a nonprofit dedicated to highlighting the stories of inspiring women and girls who are changing the world through their lives. We want to hear from you, so message us, follow us on social media, and share your stories with us. We want to get to know you and the One Girl Revolutions in your life. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at One Girl Revo. That's the number one, Girl REVO. We're on YouTube at One Girl Revolution, and you can find all of our podcast episodes, videos, social media links, and so much more on our website at onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number one, girlrevolution.com. On this week's episode of the One Girl Revolution podcast, I welcome JacQuetta Brown, founder of Detroit Guardian Angels. Detroit Guardian Angels' mission is simple. They are seeking to be the change that they want to see in the city of Detroit by working with the community and elevating the voices of young people and empowering them to become the future of this great city. Detroit Guardian Angels builds community and support around kids throughout the city and gives them a space to find out who they were made to be and to chase their dreams. JacQuetta has a very powerful story. She was abused as a child and has suffered a great amount of abuse and trauma throughout her life. But instead of focusing on her victimhood, she became the victor of her own story. And now she's using her own experiences to empower and help kids throughout the city of Detroit and beyond. JacQuetta's story is so inspiring, and I'm so grateful to know her and to call her my friend. What I love so much about the work of Detroit Guardian Angels is that literally every single one of us can emulate the work that they're doing. You don't have to live in the city of Detroit or even a big city to be a support system for children in your community. I'm honored and excited to share JacQuetta's story and her incredible work with you. So without further ado, here's JacQuetta. JacQuetta, welcome to the One Girl Revolution podcast.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so excited to have you on.
Yay,
and
me too.
I feel like this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
It was so great to meet you. It feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
At M3, and now just getting to know you and know more about your work in the city of Detroit. And I know that that is having a lot of impact around the country and around the world as well. It's not just here in Detroit. So I want to talk about everything that you're doing. But before we get into that, I'd love to ask you, who is a One Girl Revolution in your life? Who's a woman or girl that inspires you?
I would have to say my mom, because she's resilient. She just presses through. Like no matter what comes her way, she just presses through. And she has a lot of things going on in her life and a lot of struggles. But I kind of wish that she would take advantage of some therapy. But she's my inspiration. She's everything to me. She don't give up. She has 1,000 degrees, didn't start until after we all were grown and out of the house. And, you know, she began to live her life after we were already out of the home. So that just, it's an inspiration.
Yeah, well, I think therapy, all of us probably need more therapy than...
Absolutely. I know I do.
I was thinking that as you said it. I was like, we probably all need therapy more. But
yeah.
So I want to talk about your life before we get into the work that you're doing. So I would love to just rewind and talk about your early life, a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and anything you feel like you want to share.
So I am born and raised in Detroit, thoroughbred. Love my city. I love everything about it. All of the things that seems to be the struggles in the city is the things that I see potential, which is why I do what I do. I feel like young girls mainly is my passion because I was a young girl in trouble. I was molested by a very close person in my life. And I was molested for 10 years, from 7 to 17. And he took advantage of my youth. He took my innocence away. And before I understood what it was, I became this angry, violent person that I didn't even recognize. But I was comfortable there because I had some sort of control over myself. Because even though I would fight, and sometimes I would lose the fights, it was like It was my outlet. It was a way that I can at least release some of my anger and control myself at least a little bit. Um, it was it was it was a way to look for myself. And I wish that I had somebody who could just like tap me on the shoulder and say, it's not your fault. Or, let me know that I'm not alone. I did have a few people in my life who was going through what I was going through, but they were just as young as I was, and we all were lost. But I didn't share what I was going through, and I couldn't tell my mom because I loved her too much. My relationship with my mom is so complex because although the person in my life who harmed me um, was somebody very close to her, my protection for her is why I dealt with it for so long. I felt like I didn't want her to be unhappy. And if this person was to leave out of our lives, then that would make my mom unhappy. And so I'd rather have dealt with what I dealt with to keep her at least the facade of happiness that looked like a good place that she was in. She had been so hurt from my father leaving, and I just was like, you know, this person is somehow bringing some sort of happiness in her life. So if that means that I have to take this from this person for her to be happy, so be it. But that was a mind of a child, not understanding that there's no way he's good for, the situation if he's harming her child. So
I think what you experience there, though, is what so many children experience, and so many even adults. You hear stories about women that are in domestic abuse situations, and they're like, "Well, he didn't mean to do it," or they're I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings, or I don't want to put we do that. And I think that women and girls, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And it's just, but it's important for you to share your story. And I know you share it with a lot of the girls that you work with, because it's not right, and it never should have happened.
Yeah. And I am extremely transparent now because it was a part of my freedom. I used to, so I am a believer in God, and I used to have dreams while I was going through the abuse, and I didn't understand the dreams because I wasn't fully aware of what was happening. I didn't understand prophecy at the time, and that dreams is held with God garnering them, and so I used to have these dreams where I used to be so afraid of him. Like when he would show up in my dream, he would be this huge giant, and I would be like this small ant, and I couldn't bring myself to face him. And as I got older, the more I talked about it, the more I shared my story, the more impactful people found my story to be. At the end, the last dream that I had was maybe 10 years ago about him. And in that dream, I was like a giant to him. And I was like, you're a monster, and I was just attacking him, and not physically, but with words, and letting him know that you stole something from me and I want it back. You don't have the right. You don't have the right to take this from me and no other girl. And I pray that nobody else goes through what I went through. But it was like in my dream, I had a girl standing behind me, and I was protecting her from him. And the more I addressed him and gave him back what he gave to me, he got smaller and I got bigger. And that was the last dream I had. And so it encouraged me to continue to talk about it, continue to share my story. And that dream alone helped me understand that somebody is behind me, needing me to protect them with my story.
So you were having these dreams, then you started to tell your story, then it was opening your eyes to, this is where I'm finding freedom. Yeah. Was there a suddenly moment, or was it that last dream that just kind of changed everything for you, where you found healing? It's probably also a road that you're still walking, where we're always healing from things, traumas that have happened to us in our early life. And I can't even imagine what that journey is like for you.
So a lot of my healing came from my niece. She, not necessarily mine, but she's mine. And she came into my life And I saw something in her. I didn't know her story at the time, but it was something that gravitated me towards her. And I pulled her in closer and I asked her to come stay with me because I felt like she needed some guidance. And she was angry, and I recognized it. I recognized the frustration, the emptiness inside of her. Like she almost felt like, um, what am I here for? You know? And I could see her not caring about anything in the world, just going through the world with this bitterness in her on her shoulders. She just was so uptight about everything. And she was only 13. And when she moved in with me, I made it my business to build her up and, ignore all of the anger and attitude that she was giving me because I knew what it was. It was something deeper. Um, Apparently, our story was the same. After I found out, our story was the same. Not the same, but she has a similar story as mine. And as she grew to deal with it and talk about it, she's still not really open to talk about it to everybody. But when she do talk about it, at least to those who are close enough to her, there's a freedom that you can see releasing from her. And it's just um, that is my way of giving myself the freedom that I need, is to make somebody else see that they're not alone, and their anger is not their own anger. Is something else hidden inside, and it comes from something that you probably didn't even create yourself. But we're going to find out what it is, and we're going to dig it up, and we're going to talk about it. And the more I see people get the healing that they need, I feel more healed myself.
I think it's really important what you shared about your experience and your niece's experience too, because a lot of times we see people that are acting out, kids that are acting out about things, and instead of figuring out, digging down to figure out what is the root of why they're acting out in that way. Some kids are just whatever, their personality, things that they were born with, but a lot of times there are these different motivators, different things that are going on in their life. And so we need to do a better job of actually getting to the root or the heart of what's going on in people's lives, and not just kids. You see the grumpy old person at the grocery store. Why are they having a bad day? And we never know what someone is walking. And so it's important for us to just see people, and if they're in our life or somewhere tangentially in our life, pull them into our life like you did with your niece and say, what's going on? How can we work through this? Let's talk about it.
And I have had like mothers of the program or family members who are close to some of my members of the organization say to me, why don't you do something with the adults? Why don't you put something together with the adults and maybe give them some outlet to talk and to open up? And it's not that I don't want to do that. I found myself more comfortable with children because they're innocent and they're pure, and they're not really. It's a little harder to dig with older people than it is with children.
That's true. That's
it's
true.
more surface for children. They're trying to find out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where adults, they're more like protective. They don't want to, talk about things that may seem a little sensitive. They're more wise, so they use wisdom to talk, so they don't really let out the fullness of what's really bothering them. And it's more of a pull that I don't want to have to go through.
And you also can't do everything because
Yeah.
you are already doing so much and you're helping so many people. So
Yeah.
I want to talk about Detroit Guardian Angels.
Mhm.
How did Detroit Guardian Angels come about?
So actually, there's three of us. There was three women who were my childhood friend. We've been friends since I was 10 years old, and her cousin. And we decided to create something where we didn't know exactly what we wanted to do. We knew we wanted to give back, and we wanted to start a nonprofit and want to be a part of something more powerful than ourselves. And we were brainstorming since I want to say it was 17 that we put it together. We were just meeting and just coming up with stuff like, well, what about this? What about a group home? What about that? And then life happened. One of the members had lost two of her kids in one day, and it was very, very sad. And so she couldn't go on, so it was just the two of us left. And then her situation got really, really bad, and then it's just one. But the heart of it is still there. The motive, the reason why we started it is still the same, is to help people. But I just got more guidance when it was left with just me. I got more guidance of how God wanted me to help people, and it's through the youth, and it's through stories, and it's through you know, being able to dig into we are so focused as a society at the surface level of issues, and why did you steal that car, and why did you beat up that homeless person, and it seems so simple when you're looking at it at the surface level, but there's so many deeper things going on with people. And if we could just look beyond the surface, just one layer, and start peeling away the onion, we start to see that deep down inside, the heart is really big. It's just been suppressed, and environment and people, the surroundings of people have just clouded the judgment of the person, and they don't know which way to go anymore. They just resort to violence or resort to anger, and they just submit themselves to that side of them. And somewhere, somehow, we should be able to dig and help them pull that other side out.
Check out One Girl Revolution's YouTube channel and hit subscribe for more podcast episodes, short documentaries, and other video content. The Girl Inside features the powerful story of a professor who teaches a life-changing storytelling class to incarcerated women at Cook County Jail. The second documentary from One Girl Revolution is coming soon, so make sure that you're the first to know by subscribing to One Girl Revolution on YouTube. So what is the mission of Detroit Guardian Angels? And tell me more about your programs and projects. I know you have a lot going on.
So Detroit Guardian Angels' mission is to decriminalize our community one youth at a time. So our goal is to it's kind of prison reform, but it's more about trying to start young. We could see the pathway, so some of the programs we have, one of the programs we have right now that's been going on since 2019 is our mentorship program. It started off as an all-girls mentorship program, and now I've had so many boys come to me and tell me that they wanted to participate, and we needed to have a boy side. So I'm like, I guess we can integrate it. It's no reason why not. I'm a little nervous, but we do have, it was called Angels of Love program. Now it's the Guardians of Detroit, GOD. Mentorship program for girls and boys, and it starts January the 8th. And basically what we do is we try and give them an avenue, an outlet for them to speak. We also want to give them the build leadership in them. We want them to take accountability for their community, make sure that they are understanding that their leadership is how we progress in Detroit. So it's based out of self-love, neighborly love, and then love for your community. But you have to start with the love of yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And so the mentorship program is, we give back to the community. We teach them humility by seeing other people's situations. We feed the homeless, and we go to the elderly homes, and we visit elderly who don't have family or nobody to come and visit them. And we kind of teach them skills like home economics and, things that we done in our age that they don't get to do now, woodworking, stuff like that. And then in the end, there's a ball that kind of highlight all of the progress that they've made through the program. And so we just clap them up and just give them acknowledgement, and just they walk a runway, and we just give them praise and award them the entire walk. We just talk about how much progress they've made since they started, and all of the positive things that we could say about them. And they all of the women, the young girls wear white, and the young boys wear either blue or black, and they have a debutante beautician ball.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so awesome.
Yep.
Well, and the work that you're doing, it's building community around these kids and giving them purpose. And you and I have talked about just the power of story, and even you sharing your own story. When we are able to tell our stories, it gives, first of all, us purpose in a new way. It gives us clarity and perspective, but then it also empowers other people around us too. And so that's what you're doing. You're building, I'm sure each year when you're doing the membership or mentorship program, you're empowering a bunch of kids, but then they're going out and empowering their community, and they're staying in touch with one another, and then they're pulling other kids into the program. It's probably so cool to just see it continue to grow.
And that's what we aim to do. We want to touch kids who touch other kids. We want to be able to, and I always say a prayer before, I meet with my board meeting, or we have our meetings with the organization. I mean, with the mentorship, and my prayer is usually that something like, Lord, use my hands to touch. Lord, use my mouth to speak. Lord, use my heart to love on people the way that you love on people, and remove me so that I am no longer in the way, and that you could get the glory out of the life of the person who we touch. And I say that because sometimes we can be so biased and not realize it, that you miss the opportunity to reach somebody because you haven't dug into who they was, whatever biases you have. So if I'm not looking at me and how I may feel about you, and what I may see your struggles are, and I'm allowing God to see you through my eyes, then I can see past whatever it is that you have in front of me. Which is like one of the things that we're piloting, which is what I also wanted to bring up. We're piloting a program where we want to have an in-house therapy, like a therapeutic residential facility for the community who needs to be removed from their environment, those young people who need to be removed from their environment and get the therapy or the mental help that they need to keep them out of the prison system. So it'll be something that'll probably be that the court appoints. So as a diversion plan, as the judge see fits, this program may work for them to keep them out of the prison system, to dig into what the real problem is, get the therapy that they need, and maybe this may save them from starting a life of the prison system, because once you're in it, it's hard to get out. And so once you start at a young age and you able to pull them away from, divert them from that pathway and give them a different pathway to follow, then it's worth it. Yeah. And it makes it all the while. And we have to spend more time on mental health and the therapy, and starting at a young age, and being able to pull out those things that are suppressed deep inside of them.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see where all the kids that you're working with go, because I know they're going to go on to do incredible things, and I can't wait to see your work continue to unfold and grow. I'd love to hear a couple of stories of kids that have already gone through your program, kids that you've worked with that have maybe been touched by Detroit Guardian Angels in a special way.
So, so the mentorship program was interrupted by the pandemic, so we wasn't able to get to the ball. But I can say that a few of the kids that did come through the program, they've been, since 2019, they've been begging me to come back, because they felt like we had like a dance. They all talk about this dance ceremony thing that the church was able to put on and they participated with. And it's crazy because we don't think about different ways that kids deal with their struggles, and they dealt with it out of dance, and that dance had them feeling like they had a way to, like, some people sing, some people do yoga, I'm not sure, like some people have their ways, but that dance, at least 5 girls have talked to me about it, like, are we gonna start back up dancing, because it made me feel so relieved, and it was like their meditation. And they're eager, but because the program wasn't able to I wasn't able to see the end of it because of the pandemic. I didn't get any stories or testimonials from it. I mean, I know the ones that have been in the program, how I've touched them personally, but the program, I'm not sure how it would have or how it could have helped them in the end. But I know that during the program. They enjoyed themselves totally, and they felt free. They felt like they had somewhere to talk. One of the girls in the program was pregnant. She was only 14. And I think she was 15, maybe 15. And nope, she was 14. She was going to have a baby when she was 15. And she just felt so alone. And I know that once the program had started and she became a part of it, she said she felt like she had a family and that at least she wasn't going through the pregnancy by herself. And it was sad to watch because she didn't know what to do. She was just a child. She was a child having a child, and we supported her as much as we could through the process. We, purchased some items for her baby shower and stuff, and we stayed in touch with her. I wasn't able to find out, throughout the entire pregnancy, like when she had the baby, we didn't see the baby or anything like that. But the city was shut down, so
yeah.
But that's just one of the people who I would love to reach back out to and see how she's doing, how the baby's doing, and stuff like that.
It's got to be difficult for you and for everybody else who volunteers and works with these kids, because sometimes you can stay in touch with them. I'm sure some of the kids have stayed in touch with you, and they probably will be a part of your Guardian Angels family for forever.
Yeah.
But then there are others where, and we all have experiences like this, where sometimes you just have to let them go, and you have to just be like, hopefully I made a difference in their life and I made some sort of impact, and I hope the best for them. And even different things that I've done through One Girl Revolution, even when I did this short documentary, The Girl Inside, which a lot of people have watched, where I went in and interviewed 5 incarcerated women at Cook County Jail. I had no way to get in touch with them. And so it was really up to these women. After the fact, we left Cook County, and Cook County Jail was like, it's up to them to reach out to you. And thankfully, Facebook and social media is such a powerful force to reconnect people. And so I've had a couple of the women reach out, and but it can be really difficult where it's like, I want to stay in touch with this person, but sometimes we just have to let them go and hope for the best.
Yep, that's true. And we have had a few there that were more trouble than, it was... Like I said, it's a job that can't one person do, and my biggest issue is that I weigh a lot of the organization on my own shoulders, and I don't rely on the people who support me to help. And so when it become overwhelming, and I had those situations where one of the girls were like very extremely over the top, like she was hard to deal with, at that point it's because the negativity spreads.
Yes.
And if you can't see the success in the program, then, you have to be able to know the difference. You have to know those who want the help and those who don't. You cannot help those who just don't want the help. And it took me a while to understand that, but once I did, it was smooth sailing. I did reach out to her outside of the organization in the program because I wanted to know, like, what's wrong. But she had a whole lot of suppression going on there. She wasn't trying to talk, and hopefully I can reach her for this time around, and she's in a different place, and maybe she wants the help, but I am going to reach back out to her. But if she don't want the help, then I can't force it on her.
Yeah, sometimes it's a timing thing too. We have to be ready to get the help and support, and be ready to be open too, because I know a lot of what you're doing through the mentorship program and through the work that you're doing, everybody needs to be really open and willing to share their stories and work together. And so I know you have the new mentorship program coming up, and then you mentioned a couple of things in the future. What's next for Detroit Guardian Angels? What are some things that you see on the trajectory?
So, well, the end goal is the therapeutic residential facility, and we want to spread it through most inner city communities and kind of lobby for mental health and get the politics behind funding therapy and mental health. And on the political side, is just, I believe that there's not enough help for those who are struggling mentally because there's no funding for it. And we want to be able to not only open up the therapeutic residential facility to help the program, to help the city and the community and the young people, we also want to use it as research to show the how getting people help can really give them the diversion that they need to keep them out of the prison system, and allow the government to put the funding in therapy and mental health so that this can be a widespread normal thing for people to get the help that they need and mental help that they need, whether they're children or adults. I work with the young, but it may be an organization that come behind me that want to start one for the older or the adults that may need an in-house therapy and need to be removed from their community, and that this could help in some way bring forth a normalizing therapy, normalizing, mental health, and just making it something that is useful for everybody.
What about in the short term? So, like this year with the mentorship program, what are you most excited about?
Oh my goodness. The lock-in and the ball are the two most exciting parts of the mentorship program. So the lock-in is an overnight stay. We get to know each other. We bring in outsiders in to kind of give them. We have Carolyn from M3 coming, and she's speaking and reading her book. And then hopefully you're going to come out and speak to the group, and hopefully we could get them some activities going on for the lock-in. But the lock-in is also a way to allow us to do some assessing, seeing what behaviors they may be struggling with, or their strong suits, their weaknesses, and paying attention to their social skills, and just kind of picking up on the initial relationship between each other and us, and then creating a relationship with a mentor, connecting them with somebody who is 18 to 25 that can mentor them through their life struggles. And then we, as the program directors, work with the mentors to mentor the mentees. And so the lock-in kind of like creates the starting point of our relationship. And then the ball in the very end, it highlights the entire progress of the program, what happened, what things was done. So we have like a variety show coming up. We have where we display their gifts, talents. It could be painting, and they auction off their painting. If they like to sing, they're gonna sing, and we want all of their supporters, family and friends, to come out and just clap them up, give them support, let them know that we're behind them, no matter how big or how small their skills are. We just give them the big ups and clap, 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 and give them that support that they need to let them know that it's nothing too small, nothing too big for them to do, and that everything is celebrated with us. And that variety show is also another big thing that I really look forward to. I want to see what type of talents they bring to the show. And then, I hope to bring out other organizations and other people that may want to witness those skills from our young people. And then the ball. So the ball is just, I think, is the highlight of the entire program, because we get to see what happened, what things they were able to accomplish, how they started compared to how they ended, and also just kind of giving them their roses, early on, and just letting them know that we appreciate you being our future, and the weight of the future really do lean on them. So
what a celebration of their time and their talents and their purpose in life. I think everybody needs to be reminded of that we each have a unique purpose, and specifically children and kids. And so I'm so excited for this next year for you guys. And I bet it's nice too, coming out of COVID and actually being able to meet in person, and it gives us so much more to look forward to as well.
And I think that may be the reason why we have such a high response this time, because first time around the kids was like, I got basketball, I have this, and they have a lot of things going on. But this time around, kids just want to get out. They want to socialize, they want to be away from the home, so this would at least give them that break from the pandemic and all of the things that it brought.
Donate to One Girl Revolution's nonprofit organization to help us continue our work, highlighting inspiring women and girls that are changing the world through their lives, promoting their work and their organizations, and building a powerful and positive force out in the world dedicated to empowering women, their voices, and their stories. Donate at onegirlrevolution.com/donate. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com/donate. So how can people who are listening get involved in the work that you're doing?
So we are, there's multiple ways to help. We do have, because we are in, we deal with low income people, we do look for sponsors to help us sponsor a kid. And the membership is $200. And if you can sponsor a kid or just put something towards the sponsorship of a kid, that is one way. Another way is to volunteer your time. Come out and support us with your time. You can come out to some of the meetings and speak, or just come out and just be a supporter in the audience and participate with them side by side while they're feeding the homeless, or you can, if you are a professional, mental health professional or social worker, and you want to get behind the piloting of the program for the therapeutic residential facility, you can reach me either at my contact number, which is 313-320-8603. And you can email me at jmd0312@gmail.com. And these are ways that you can get involved with us. And if you're outside of Detroit, we are coming to other areas and other cities, and we don't want to limit ourselves to just one area, because this is needed everywhere. And if you want to start something like this, contact me, or if it's something that you want to participate in from a distance, contact me. We have many, many ways that you can help. And it's not always just financial. That's just one element. But in reality, financial don't really do as much as your presence. Like supporting, showing up, letting them know that you're there means a whole lot, because a lot of the times these kids don't have parents that can show up. And just to have an audience full just like helps them realize that there are people that care.
Yeah. I will post your contact information and your website and every way that people can possibly follow what you're doing. I would encourage people to get on your email list and follow you on social media and anything else that they can do, because sometimes that is more meaningful even than donating $1.
Absolutely.
So just following and supporting you and sharing with other people if they know people in Detroit or know people other places that might want to get involved in your work. I want to ask you, what can people do to emulate your work? So you're working with kids. You're really helping change the trajectory of so many kids' lives. What would you say to people, no matter where they are in the country or in the world, what can we all be doing to emulate the work that you're doing?
I would strongly advise people to maybe take a step back when they see surface issues, and you don't always have to get involved with the person that is struggling or may have anger issues, but if we could just take a step back and realize that not all things that look bad is as bad as it may seem, and if we can reach the heart of the issue, try at least hug somebody, let them know you're there. If you see somebody acting a little different than they normally have been, or seem a little down, or seem a little sad or disconnected or detached, reach out. Let them know that you're there. Let them know that you care, and support each other. Like, we really need a community of supporters who allow us to know that we're not alone, and that is strong. It is powerful, and it allows us to keep moving forward and not looking backwards. And it helps. So if you see somebody that may be going through something, just give them a hug. Talk to them if you have time. Make time if you don't, to speak to somebody you love, and steer them towards therapy. Therapy is important. And if you think that they may need it, at least advise them. Don't press, but advise them.
just be present in people's lives, I think is so important. And as you were speaking there, I was thinking about your own journey, your own life, and your niece's life and your niece's journey. And sometimes we might see something and think that it's an issue, but there might be a different issue going on, or, you know, there's a root coming from somewhere else. And so I think it's so important for all of us to be there for the kids in our community and the kids in our family and our friends, and support one another, because we're only going to get through this life together. And you're the embodiment of that.
Yeah. And if we have a pull in our heart towards somebody, answer it. Because you may be the answer to somebody else's success story.
JacQuetta, you're so amazing, and the work you're doing is so inspiring, and I can't wait to continue to follow everything that you guys are doing and be involved in it. I'm so excited for to participate in your lock-in and all the other things you guys have coming up. But before I let you go, I always end this podcast on one question. So I'd like to ask you, if you could leave women and girls around the world with one message, what would it be?
When you walk past the mirror and you look at yourself, hold your head up high and know that you are loved. If nobody else loves you, love yourself first. And that is my message.
JacQuetta, you are so amazing. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, and thank you for all the great work that you do.
You too. Thank you so much.
Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at One Girl Revo. That's the number one girl, REVO. And you can find more information on One Girl Revolution at onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number one girlrevolution.com.